Minecraft 1.21.6 is here. The Chase the Skies update has added new mobs, new blocks, new mechanics, and much more. So in this video, I'll be showing you every new feature added in the Chase the Skies update. Minecraft 1.21.6 has brought one of the biggest changes in history. So saddles have been in Minecraft since 2010, and ever since they were added, you were never able to craft them. Instead, you could only find a saddle in dungeons, desert temples, and stronghold chests. But that has all changed in the Chase the Skies update, as saddles are now craftable. Just simply put 3 leather with 1 iron ingot in a crafting table and bam, you have a saddle. I can't believe this is finally possible. It's only taken 15 years to get this change. Additionally, since you can now craft saddles in the new update, you can no longer find them in the structures I mentioned before. Clouds have received a pretty cool change in the Chase the Skies update. That's right, in 1.21.6, the texture for cloud distribution has been updated to have more clouds in the sky along with smaller gaps in between. Additionally, there is also a rare chance for the clouds to form a creeper face when certain clouds align with each other. Now, this is quite a rare event, but really cool nonetheless. Minecraft 1.21.6 has added a new block to the Nether. So, if you explore the Soul Sand Valley biome within the Nether, then you may stumble across this odd looking block. This is the dried ghast. Found between nether fossils in Soul Sand Valleys, the dried ghast resembles an immobile, harmless ghast that takes the form of a block. The dried ghast can instantly be collected by the player with any tool or by hand, but you can also craft one by using 8 ghast tears and a bone block. Another way you can obtain the dried ghast block is by bartering with piglins. That's right, if you throw gold ingots at a piglin to barter, then there is a 2.13% chance for a piglin to give you a dried ghast block. Now, the main feature of the dried ghast is that it can be taken back to the overworld, placed down, and then be waterlogged by the player. The dried ghast, when submerged in water, will then begin a rehydration process that happens in stages. The first stage is the original dried stage, which looks all grumpy. After 5 minutes, however, of being in water, the dried ghast becomes partially hydrated, looking a bit brighter. After 10 minutes, the block becomes mostly hydrated, looking slightly less grumpy, and then after 15 minutes the dried ghast becomes happy looking, being fully hydrated. I just love how this ghast block starts off grumpy looking but becomes brighter and happier the more it hydrates. I'm sure a lot of us have felt like this ghast block. Anyways, after 20 minutes of the dried ghast being submerged in water, it transforms into the first new mob that has been added in the Chase the Skies update. Meet the ghastling, a small passive ghast mob that won't shoot fireballs at you but will instead occasionally follow the player or other mobs within a 16 block radius. But most of the time the ghastling will just float around aimlessly and just mind their own business really. However, the ghastling will only remain in this state for about 20 minutes as it will transform into a much bigger, friendlier ghast mob that has officially been named as the Happy Ghast. One cool thing to note about the ghastling though is that you can feed them snowballs to speed up the process in which they become a happy ghast. Just give them 10 or more snowballs and watch them quickly transform into this big friendly ghast. Now then, let's talk about the Happy Ghast. So the Happy Ghast is a mob that will float around aimlessly in the overworld but with a smile on its face. The mob is completely passive, has 10 hearts of health, and will drop 1 to 3 experience orbs when killed. But you guys won't be getting experience orbs off a Happy Ghast because you wouldn't be so horrible as to kill one, would you? Hey, it doesn't count that I did it. I had to do it for the sake of the video. It doesn't count, okay? But anyways, the Happy Ghast will also serve as a brand new way to travel around the overworld, and here is why. So if you manage to collect 3 leather, 1 glass, and some wool, you can put them together in the crafting table like so and craft a brand new item which is known as the harness. Now the harness looks like this and comes in 16 different color variants, which is based on which wool color you use to craft it. This harness can then be equipped to a Happy Ghast, changing the Ghast's appearance to have aviator goggles above its head. Once the harness is equipped, the player can ride the Happy Ghast and fly both horizontally and vertically, allowing for more precise movement in the air. Oh, also, while the Happy Ghast is being ridden by the player, its goggles lower to cover its eyes, looking like this, and I think that just looks amazing. Now, what's cool about the Happy Ghast is that it can be ridden by up to 4 players, so if you're playing on multiplayer servers, then you and your friends can traverse the overworld together using one harness on a big smiling ghast mob. I will be the one controlling the ghast though, because I don't trust my friends to not ride us into a cliff or something. Not only is the Happy Ghast great for exploring your world, it's also a very useful mob for building in high places, and here is why. So not only can players ride Happy Ghast, they can also stand on top of them as well, as if they were a solid block. The ghast will then remain still while players are standing on it. This makes it easier to both mount and dismount the mob, as well as allowing players to build high above the ground without the risk of their ghast flying away. Another really cool feature with Happy Ghasts is their ability to transport entities in the air by using leads. For example, if a player attaches a leashed mob to a Happy Ghast, then you will be able to transport said mob from point A to point B. A Happy Ghast is also able to have a leashed boat attached to them, meaning you can have 2 players sitting in the boat and 4 on the Happy Ghast, allowing 6 of you to fly from point A to point B at once. Now, while we're on the topic of leashed mobs, leads have received a few major changes in the 1.21.6 update. So first of all, leads before this update were crafted with 4 strings and 1 slime ball, but in the Chase the Skies update, it was changed to only use 5 string. This was likely done to make leads easier to craft, as slime balls can sometimes be a bit difficult to obtain. Another change made to leads in the Chase the Skies update is a change made to the lead mechanics themselves. So we all know multiple mobs can be held by leads at once, but in 1.21.6 an additional change to where entities can be attached to other entities with leads. For example, if you want to connect multiple pigs together in a caravan-like fashion, then you can. The pigs will also follow you in a much more organised state instead of them all being bunched up together with the old lead method. It's also worth noting that with the new lead mechanic, you can also connect boats to other boats. This means you can have a string of lead connected boats in the water, which can allow you to do things such as transport many mobs or boats with chests across water. But easily the coolest thing you can do with leads in 1.21.6 is utilise them with the Happy Ghast mob. This is because leads can be connected to the Happy Ghast itself along with another entity. This means you can use a Happy Ghast to carry a sniffer mob with the lead and transport it from point A to B. You can also use a Happy Ghast to carry a boat that's connected to another boat that's then being connected to a sniffer. I think you get the point. The possibilities of transporting entities with Happy Ghasts are just endless. Some small other changes made to leads in 1.21.6 are as follows. First of all, the distance in which a lead can snap and break has been increased from 10 blocks long to 12 blocks long. However, the snapping distance with a lead will be 16 blocks long if it is attached to a Happy Ghast. Secondly, a nice detail added to the leads is, depending on the size of the mob you're leashing, the lead will extend into 4 sections when it's connected to said mob. For example, if I connect a sniffer to a Happy Ghast, you'll see that the lead extends 4 ways, as the sniffer is quite a large mob. Third of all, another change made to leads is that you can now use shears to cut the leads if it is connected from one entity to another. And while we're on the topic of shears, a change was made to them as well. So in 1.21.6, shears are now able to be used to remove saddles, horse armor, and harnesses from mobs. So for example, before, if you were to put a saddle on a pig, then you weren't able to remove it unless you killed the pig. But in the Chase the Skies update, just right click on the saddled pig with shears and there you go, the saddle is removed. In Minecraft 1.21.6, 1.21.6, a change has been made to the regular ghasts we find in the Nether. First of all, the resolution of the ghast texture has been updated and doubled to match the high resolution of the new happy ghasts. Another cool change with ghasts in the Chase the Skies update is that they are now able to drop a new music disc. That's right, if you manage to kill a ghast by deflecting its fireball, then the ghast will actually drop a music disc upon death that is simply named Tears. Here is a preview of how the new music disc sounds. The overworld is getting a glow up in 1.21.6 as a new type of environmental fog has been added into the game. That's right, during rain and thunderstorms in the overworld, the fog will now appear as being a lot more denser and intense. This change was done to give the player a lot more of a stormy atmosphere when it rains in your world. Minecraft multiplayer has received some changes in the Chase the Skies update. So 1.21.6 has added a new locator bar which will be displayed on the player's HUD and essentially reveal the direction and location of other players that are playing on your multiplayer server. Now, if a player wants to hide from being shown on the locator bar, then they can do a few things to counter it. First of all, if the player was to sneak and crouch, then they won't show up on the locator bar. Players can also wear a mob head or a carved pumpkin. And finally, if the player is under the invisibility effect, then they won't appear on the locator bar as well. It's also worth noting that players in spectator mode will not be visible either on the locator bar, but people in creative mode will. And finally, with every new update that's released today, the Minecraft title screen background has been changed to match the theme of Chase the Skies. For example, you can see a happy ghast in the background as well as the dried ghast block. But there you have it, those were most of the things added in the 1.21.6 Chase the Skies update. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching, enjoy traversing the overworld on the new Happy Ghasts mob, and I'll see you all in my next video. Goodbye!